What's up, everybody? Hopeland 93 in the place to be. Welcome to a brand new season of the Bennett Brothers Wrestling Corner, Season 5, Episode 1, or as I used to always say, Episode 1 of Season 5. And now you're probably wondering, where is Chris? Because Bennett Brothers, but there's only one. As you guys remember, in the fall of last year, when Chris's job basically conflicted with him being able to do the corner. It's the same way. Basically, Chris is going to work on Mondays. But he's not so sure if it's going to be permanent or not. But for the time being, yeah, it's only going to be me. And I asked Chris, 2 days ago, I believe yesterday, if he would be fine if the Wrestling Corner moved to my channel. And Chris said he had no problem with it. And I'm happy to say, because, be quite honest, I don't do that many videos on YouTube, even though I do have, every once in a while I'll do a video. But in terms of being on YouTube on the regular, it's mostly when I'm on the corner. So, I'm not trying to be selfish, but I think it's a pretty, good deal, because basically, yeah, on YouTube, mostly all I'm doing is the corner. So why not, move it to, and because Chris might no longer be part of the show on the regular, probably be best to have it on my channel. Big show. But anyway, so yeah, new season, new channel, but same entertainment like always. We kick off this season with basically WWE's latest pay-per-view, Night of Champions 2015. Oh, let me fix this just a minute. I hope everybody had a nice weekend. Well, I sure did, even though I'm a little bit upset with the Giants not winning yesterday, and we had the game basically won. But can't cry over spilled milk, as they say. So, as always, before we get into the review, it's good to be back. Our last show was basically the SummerSlam review, and also me and Chris, we also discussed basically how the seasons would go, because SummerSlam wasn't even a set end point for the season. That kind of came on the fly, like, let's end it with the SummerSlam review. And then I came with the idea, because really we was only going to take 2 weeks off. But then I said, how about, since we ended it on a review of a pay-per-view, how about we come back with a review of a pay-per-view? And that's why, we're here right now. And as I see it, this Wrestling Corner season, basically season 5, will start with the Night of Champions review, and probably end with the last show of this year, basically the end of the year awards show, the second annual of the Wrestling Corner. So basically, that's going to be the time frame of season 5. I don't know how many episodes that's going to lead into, that's going to add up to, but that's basically going to be the schedule. Night of Champions all the way to basically the last Monday of 2015. So basically up to speed on probably on the present, and even in the future, or even in the past, if you will. So without further ado, let's get into the review of Night of Champions 2015. Night of Champions 2015 was that big show. Was broadcasted live from Houston, Texas. Oh, everything's bigger in Texas. Yeah, everything's bigger in Texas. And, you know, coming into the show, I don't think in my personal opinion, I don't think Night of Champions had the best build per se. It probably had a little bit lackluster build. So if anybody came in there probably not expecting much, I couldn't blame them, or probably thinking that maybe W have to really make up for that lack of build, with their performance. Oh, and I really hope Cesaro wins this match because I still feel he should have never lost that match against Big Show on SmackDown. So, let's get into the event. The first match of the card was for the Intercontinental Championship. Oh, wait, hold up. Oh, come on, Cesaro. For the Intercontinental Championship, Kevin Owens versus the Intercontinental Champion himself, Ryback. By the way, though, before going into some things about the match, I'm not gonna lie, this was probably the last match I expected to kick off the show. I either expected a tag team match or even the Rusev Ziggler match, but it was actually Kevin Owens in the Ryback match that kicked off the show. Basically in the beginning, in the early moments of the match, Ryback was basically overpowering Owens, and the highlight of him overpowering Owens was basically him gorilla pressing Owens out of the ring. It was like almost like within like the first 3 minutes, first 2 to 3 minutes of the match. It was like that was like the biggest. That was probably the biggest move Ryback did. Oh, it was probably the biggest move Ryback did, and then Ryback, he got rammed into the steel ring post by Owens, and then most of the match was just Owens working over Ryback's arm. And one thing that I was a little bit impressed with Owens working over the arm was because I never had seen him before. I've seen arm lock. Oh, come on. Wow. Man, hold up, guys. See, now, yeah, they're basically building up Big Show. They're basically building up Big Show for his match against Brock Lesnar. So he's going to get some wins, but man, I thought Cesaro I would have liked to see Cesaro get the win. And basically that just angered Big Show. That suplex. But where I left off on basically where I left off. Yeah, one thing that impressed me about when Kevin Owens working over Ryback's arm was, he did a hammerlock Russian leg sweep. Generally you mostly see a hammerlock scoop slam or a hammerlock back suplex, but I had never seen a hammerlock Russian leg sweep until I saw Owens do it on Ryback, and that pretty surprised me. And then after basically some back and forth, Ryback getting his meat hook canceled by a super kick, and Ryback and Ryback basically hitting the meat hook. But then there came a point where, even before he hit the meat, then came a point where basically Ryback, he got put in a Fujiwara armbar and then deadlifted his way out of it into like a pump hand, almost like a pump handle slam. Then basically, after Ryback, they probably hit the meat hook. Then led it to the finish where he was going for the shell shock, and Owens basically eye-raked himself out of it, and then schoolboyed Ryback for the win to become the Intercontinental Champion. So it's so it so it's like Ryback. I mean, so it's like Kevin Owens. So it's like Kevin Owens. He might not win he maybe didn't win the United States Championship, but he still goes on to win the Intercontinental Championship. And honestly, I predicted Owens to win. I actually wanted Owens to win. I felt that if there was any heel to take the belt from Ryback, the most person who's the most qualified person for the job was Owens at the time. But on the flip side, I'm a little bit upset because Ryback didn't really get a chance to I guess I don't know if you can say enjoy his reign because he got hurt and they kept the whole Ryback Miz Big Show feud going, and most any match that dealt with Ryback in that feud, it dealt with one of them unintentionally helping him get the winner. So, and then at SummerSlam, it was him basically taking the pin from Big Show after Big Show's WMD. So I guess you can say Ryback didn't really look too much as the champ as one would think of him to be because of his size. So, I don't know if you can say he's a transitional, like he was just holding it for Owens, but because of the injury, come to circumstances because of the injury and them keeping the feud of him, Miz, and Big Show going even after he was hurt, because they didn't really have an ending going. It was kind of pretty underwhelming reign, and that was his first ever championship in WWE history. While this is technically Kevin Owens' first championship in WWE history. But if you count WWE, if you count NXT, it's basically his second. But it seems like they're not counting. It's like they're not counting NXT as like it's like really part of it. Like it's like it's a satellite of WWE, but I'm like, I don't know. It's becoming like its own brand, I guess. And then the second match of the pay-per-view was Rusev versus Dolph Ziggler. Like honestly, I'm kind of really was hoping for this to be the ending of this feud. I basically have gone on record and basically said that of all the programs going on, I think this feud is, and it's kind of it's really going past than it should have, and it should. But anyway, the match was basically similar to this SummerSlam match, and I actually like Rusev and Dolph Ziggler. Matchup, they have good chemistry, I believe, but it was basically similar to this SummerSlam match. Highlights included, Dolph hitting his DDT, but man, he really spiked Rusev, and once again, this is where Stone Cold. I bet you Stone Cold is definitely gonna do a podcast about Night of Champions. I bet you he's gonna talk about because Stone Cold, along with Jake the Snake, are ones that believe that if you're gonna have a DDT with that cell job, it kind of should get the win. It looks like the most painful move, and sometimes you look at Dolph Ziggler's moveset, that DDT does look like his most impactful move. But once again, it didn't get the win. Then there was a part where Rusev hit his, and it's funny. The irony of this is that because when Rusev hit his jumping super kick, and why it's ironic. And then he went for the pin, and then Ziggler kicked out, but Rusev still thought that he won. He acted like he won. And the reason why I say it's ironic because That's exactly the move he beat Ziggler with tonight on Raw in the 6-man tag. So it's pretty ironic. And he's acting like he won. I'm thinking, okay, what's going on here? Then it got to the point where Summer got on the apron. He got on the apron, and my mistake. She got on the apron, and then Ziggler got bumped into the ropes, and it led to her tumbling into the ring. And the referee, I forget the black referee's name, just call him the black referee. Basically was you got to get out, and then she started taking her shoes off. Then she took one shoe and she tried to throw it at the referee. The referee ducked, hit Rusev, and Rusev basically staggers into a zigzag, and 1, 2, 3 Dolph Ziggler gets the win. And because of that finish, it really looked like that was not the ending, and it seems like it's still not the ending. It's still not. I don't even think this thing is even advancing. I'm not even sure if they're really trying to drag this thing out until Lana returns from her injury. And once again, and this kind of thing goes to show you that probably, it's supposed to lead to Lana being in the ring because she only got a surgery, I think, on her wrist, but, she's going to be out for 4 months. I think, wait, that really prevent her from being on screen, being on TV? So, I got to assume that, I think you really should assume that, the blow-off is supposed to be Lana getting in the ring. But at this point, it's like with Dolph giving Summer earrings and not even a manipulative way. It's almost like, it just took a detour. So is Lana even really part of, even though Dolph did Rick Rude, and had Lana basically on his crotch. So it's like, guess it's still going. And it looks like on SmackDown, it's still going to go on because Ziggler's going to team up with Ryback to go against Owens and Rusev. So still this feud is still going, I guess. Let me see if there's any comments. No comments yet. Look at this Luke Harper. Then the third match was the second championship match of the night for the tag team championship. The Dudley Boys versus the New Day. Oh, Jesus. And, I said before that, in a way, we basically saw this match happen already because the Dudley Boys beat the New Day clean. So it's almost like, the Dudley Boys really have anything to prove. All they got to do is they just need the belt because they've already beaten New Day. But, sometimes, like, you're giving away stuff for free, that you're going to do on pay-per-view. So that's where in a way, to me, it was almost like, they already gave this match away, But anyway, it was pretty funny, Xavier looking like Rufio from the movie Hook. I mean, when I was watching the pay-per-view and in the Wrestling Central chat room, young Jay-Way, and I hope if he's watching because he knows for sure, he said that before I even saw Xavier, he said that Xavier looked like a Digimon. They didn't say what exact Digimon. And then when I saw it, first thing that popped in my mind was Shadow the Hedgehog, because Shadow the Hedgehog, he has the red highlights. Then, Nate came along and started chanting Rufio. And I don't know why it did not come to me that, oh, shoot, Rufio from freaking Hook. And then Michael Cole brought it up, and then the crowd started chanting Rufio. So it's like, the crowd, most of the people in Houston knew who Xavier was looking like, impersonating. It wasn't like, who is he supposed to be? I bet you there was probably some that maybe never saw Hook, got the pop culture reference. But, The match wasn't really, not saying the match was bad, but it wasn't really anything special. And that's not, and I don't even think that the match they had on Raw was really anything special. So it wasn't really anything special, it was what it was. It wasn't bad, but it wasn't really anything to write home about. And after the hot tag, after Devon got the hot tag, they hit the 3D on Kofi. They hit the 3D on Kofi, and it looked like the Dudley Boys was going to win. And then Xavier Woods came in the ring and stepped on Devon to basically cause the DQ, disqualification. So the Dudley Boys won, but by DQ. But as my good friend Jamar would say, in a title match, you did not win that belt. You basically did not win the match because your goal was not just to win the match. Your goal was to take the belt away from the champion. So that's always been a quote that's always stuck in my mind from my good friend Jamar. That the title match, if you didn't win the belt, you really didn't win because that's the main objective. You didn't complete your mission. So that was based with the Dudley Boys, and then the New Day basically go back on their word, or basically basically become hypocrites by bringing out the table and was going to put the Dudley Boys through the table, and then the Dudley Boys got basically rid Biggie and Kofi out of the ring, and Xavier, unbeknownst to Xavier, the Dudley Boy was getting the table set up for him, and once he turned around, he got 3D through the table, and that was basically it for that. That was basically was done for the tag team championship match. That was it. Then the fourth match was for the Divas Championship. Charlotte going up against the Divas champion herself, Nikki Bella. And despite the dusty finish that they had on Raw, I didn't mind the match they had. I didn't mind that match on Raw. I thought that was a pretty good match. And I don't think that this match, really picked up from that. I don't think so. I don't think it was a step above that match. In my personal opinion, I think it was kind of a step below, because almost immediately in the match, when Charlotte gets dumped on the apron, she lands on her feet, and then Nikki knocks her off, and then Charlotte just lands. She lands on her feet, and then all of a sudden she starts limping something. Okay, she tweaked her leg. They're gonna do the leg injury spot. I thought they were just gonna have her kind of maybe with the arm, since her arm was worked over on Monday, and then basically when she got in the ring, it was basically all Nikki. And I give Nikki credit, when she did the suplex and had Charlotte's leg hit the rope. I'm actually a big fan of that, when people do body slams or they do snapmares, or they do suplexes and they're working over the leg, and they have it go into the rope for it can snap off. That's pretty good psychology. So it was pretty cool that Charlotte's leg got hurt and Nikki worked on. But my problem with it was that it was too much of Nikki in control. I mean, it was mostly all too much of Nikki. Like I said, too much of Nikki in control, and she was really just doing a half Boston Crab, and it was almost like after a while, okay, that gets boring. That's the only hold you're doing. But it was pretty impressive when she did a second rope chop block It was almost like, for those of you that don't know, and I say I wish Steve Sly Cooper 88 was here, because we always joke about the beginning of the test and Scott Steiner met from Babel 2003 is with Scott Steiner trying to jump at Test, but he slips and looks like he super chop blocks Test. You know, me and Steve call it the flying ankle bite. So it was pretty interesting to see Nikki do a chop up in the second rope. And one thing I liked about, it was actually something a pro to take away from that match in terms of for Charlotte, even though again it was mostly all Nikki. I like that Charlotte basically followed Ricky the Dragon Steamboat's motto or advice. Basically, I think Ricky Dragon Steamboat, I forgot what I was reading, but Ricky Dragon Steamboat has always advised faces that you shouldn't, when you're basically getting beat on, when it's during the heel to get the heat, you shouldn't just take the heat without trying to put up a defense. And that's what I liked about Charlotte. She was getting her leg worked over. There'll be points in the match where she'll throw a strike at Nikki to show that, okay, you know what? I'm not just going to lay here. I'm not just going to lay here and just have you beat, beat on my leg. I'm going to try to fight back. But then, then Charlotte hit her comeback, and that's probably the most offense Charlotte got was her comeback sequence. And then Nikki hit her face buster, which is never going to be believable as a convincing near fall, I don't believe. Then Nikki tried to go for the chop block off the second rope again, but got speared in midair. And then got the figure 8, and she tapped out, thus Charlotte becoming, for the first time ever, Divas champion. So while the result was what, I'm not going to speak for everybody, but I bet you a good handful wanted, and what I wanted. But if you wanted Nikki to win, hey, you have every right. But while I'm happy that Charlotte won, I do wish, though, Charlotte had more offense. I felt it was just too much Nikki, and since she really only did a half Boston Crab and then threw in those pretty cool suplexes into ropes and a chop block, it got boring. Oh, and I forgot, and then she did the ring post figure 4, which was pretty impressive. But other than that, it was mostly just her half Boston Crab and Charlotte. So it got pretty boring. And then in retrospect, and now I sound like Chris because that's one of Chris' favorite terms. In retrospect, even though she held it for 301 days, I will not consider Nikki's reign a great reign. And once again, I don't hate the Bellas. I'm probably not their biggest fan, but I do give them credit that they have improved in some degree in terms of in-ring skills. But look, I'm not the biggest fan of a reign that the champion barely defends it. Like Ambrose's United States reign. Oh, Brock Lesnar's reign. So, especially Brock Lesnar when, it went like 3 months without him the defending. I'm not the biggest fan of those type of reign. And that's what Nikki's reign was. It's like her reign was only that high by like artificial means, because she barely defended. And so I'm happy that Charlotte won the belt. Hopefully she has a good reign, and hopefully that this program with her and Paige is pretty hot. Kind of got off to a hot start. I hope they're able to keep that momentum. You don't look like Natty might be thrown in the mix. Because Natty's back after being kind of MIA for a long time. But then on to the next match. The next match was basically the main non-title match. There was 2 non-title matches on the actual card if you don't count the kickoff show. The main non-title match was Basically the Wyatt family or the new Wyatt family, the new Wyatt family versus Dean Ambrose, Roman Reigns, and the mystery partner, the third man, the mystery third man. Almost like Bash at the Beach, 1996. With Luger, Macho Man, Sting versus the Outsiders. The Outsiders had the mystery third man. And when I did the Stephen Malcolm show, with, of course, with Steve, before our feed got rudely interrupted by issues and had to end because of that. We basically we was getting to a point where we was going to predict who it was. But Steve was able to get to his prediction. I wasn't really able to get my prediction. And he predicted to be Samoa Joe. He really threw out a wild card. He predicted Samoa Joe. I kind of thought that they maybe would stick with Orton instead of Baron Corbin, because the word was that WWE put up a graphic that had Baron Corbin as the third man, and then they quickly took it down. So I think it was a blunder on their part. But the third man would not be Baron Corbin from NXT. It would not be Samoa Joe, and it would not be Eric Rowan, because that was another option on another suggestion. Another prediction. Another prediction was it to be Eric Rowan, because him basically being replaced and what have you. But it was neither of those three. Neither of those three. But it was somebody whose nickname is with three. No, it's not even 3 letters, but it's a 3 character. Yeah, 3 character. A 3 character acronym. Y2J. Yes, Chris Jericho made a return. Okay, he's the master of returns, and I think before this match, the crowd was a little bit. Oh, hold up, phone call. Hold up, guys. Back, guys. Just had a phone call. With my dad. Yeah. uh. So yeah. You know, I was saying about how before this match, in terms of like all the way through matches, before this match, mostly the Houston crowd was kind of moderate in terms of like their reaction stuff in matches, but I think in terms of like all the way around, this was like the first match where the crowd was like really hot for the whole thing. The crowd was really into the 6-man tag, especially I think it also helped with Jericho's return. And it was pretty okay. It was pretty okay. I don't think it wasn't as chaotic as the SummerSlam match they had, which almost like took the tag team formula, bundled it up, rolled it up like it and it just threw it out. Okay, it just really went far off from the original, the tag team formula, just one man just getting beat up in the corner. No, it just threw that out, threw out the window. And then I did it a little bit and then just went right back to just chaos. No, basically the story was to try to, I guess put over Braun Strowman, as I thought the thing would be, everybody versus Braun. And look out. And, Braun Strowman, this was supposed to be like his coming out party. It really wasn't. He didn't really. He didn't really. I don't think he didn't really impress me. If you was impressed by Braun Strowman once again, that's you. But for most of us that was in the chat room, we weren't really that impressed with Braun Strowman. It's funny, Jericho getting the "You Still Got It" chant. It's almost like, but guys, the guy comes back like every once in a while, so he still has it. Like he still has it. I just always find it funny when Jericho gets the "You Still Got It" chant, because it's not like he's gone for like 4 years or so. Like he basically was like back in 2005. But basically, Roman Reigns, really did a number on Braun Strowman. No, Luke Harper barely was in the match from what I recall. But basically, Roman Reigns was able to finally, for the first time, Braun Strowman was actually put down. Reigns actually speared him, and Braun Strowman went down. And then Jericho tagged himself, and you can tell Reigns was almost like, "What are you doing?" And Jericho did the smart thing and tried to finish Braun off with the lion saw, but then he got pushed off. And then Reigns got dragged out by Bray and got thrown into the barricade. I don't know why Ambrose. I don't know what happened to Ambrose. I don't know why he was down so long. The only thing I think the last thing he did was suicide dive Luke Harper, and they both went down. But I'm thinking, okay, I really shouldn't keep Luke down unless like me and Chris, unless we missed something. And then Chris Jericho tried to go for the code breaker. He got caught. Then he got jerked up onto and look at this no sell by Johnny Boy Cena. Then he got jerked up on Braun's shoulder. Then Braun hit the full throttle, and then he hit and then he did his hanging, arm triangle choke, and Jericho was unresponsive to the check. And basically, the new Wyatt family won the match, as I predicted. Then there was basically a little segment after the match where the crowd's cheering for Jericho, basically applauding him for even though he lost, but for his performance. And you got Reigns and Ambrose looking a little bit frustrated, but I guess kind of shaking it off and like, you know what, putting it behind them a little bit. And then Jericho gets up and shoulder bumps into Ambrose and walks off. And it's like, okay. It's almost like, okay, what was that for? And it's pretty funny that there has been no follow-up to that tonight whatsoever. I think they only brought it up a little bit, but they didn't like really show it. I don't even think Reigns or Ambrose even mentioned it. So I was almost like, okay, was that really a return for Jericho? That was just a one-night thing. And was it a heel turn, but a one-night heel turn? I don't know. I would like to think there's going to be a follow. Maybe it just didn't happen tonight, but there was really no follow. The match was okay. Then, and that was pretty funny because then the next match was basically the first half of the main event. Basically Seth Rollins' first title match, his first title defense of the night, and defending United States Championship against Cena. And right there, even though Nate told me that they announced it before the show, because I didn't watch the kickoff show, I'm thinking, I was like, wait, they're really going to have Seth Rollins defend his title back to back? Well, I thought it'd be like, one in the middle. And look at Kane. Oh man, Rollins was really kicking. I thought it'd be, one in the middle, and then a match basically a match in between the two title matches, but no, it wasn't. No, come on, that don't look right. No. Oh my God. Oh, what the hell is Kane doing with him? Oh my gosh. Hold up, guys. They saw the ending of this Raw. There's another horror movie like element came basically taking Seth Rollins down to I guess his own personal hell. Don't know what Kane gonna do to him. I hope there's like some follow up that if he did do something to Seth, he shows it. And it's pretty I say show in Seth because the first match was the Cena versus Rollins match for United States Championship. And probably just I think by default, unarguably, it was probably the best, in my opinion, was the best match of the card. But one of my issues was, and Young Jay-Way thought the same, was that Seth, I'm not sure if it's just him or just whoever laid out the match. They didn't really sell the whole 2-match stipulation. And what I mean by that is that, you would think a guy who has 2 matches back to back would be very urgent, would try to hit his finisher pretty quick or go for pinfalls after every big move. That wasn't the case with Rollins. It was almost like, he wrestled as if this was like, the SummerSlam match. Like, I have no match after this. And I was just, me and Young Jay-Way was like, that whole 2-match should be sell more inside the match. Like, yeah, Seth is looking really urgent. He's trying to get every pinfall he can. He's trying to hit the pedigree anytime he can. He's very urgent about it. But Cena pulled out his, I like to say, his pay-per-view performances, which is why I guess JBL calls him Big Mac John. He pulled out, his Hurricane Rana to counter the turnbuckle powerbomb. He pulled out the Code Red. And Seth pulled out his superplex Falcon, which at this point I'm like, which at this point I'm like, it's cool and all, but it's like, it's like but it's like it's really never going to. It's almost like that move. Personally, to me, that move should get wins. It's a 2-move combination. It's a superplex and then a Falcon Arrow, but it doesn't. So I'm like, pretty cool, but it's always like, what? It's not going to get the job done. And I think it should. So it's almost like the springboard stunner. I think Cena should get wins with that, but that's just not the case. And it was pretty interesting that Cena, it took one AA to win. It took one AA to beat. It took one AA to beat Seth Rollins. And pretty refreshing because most of the time when Cena does the AA, it's always a kick out on pay-per-view. The first AA he does is always a kick out. But this time it's pretty fresh that it took one. And I bet you that in this case it dealt with because of the circumstances, because there was another match. So Cena regains his United States Championship. Basically, you can say that Rollins winning the belt was just for storyline purposes. He didn't really do anything with it. So it was almost like, as I always say, when somebody gets their belt right back, and especially like in a short span of time, I call it a title reign interruption. So I consider, Cena still in his first reign. Yeah, I was just kind of an interruption, even though it's going to count as a second reign. So maybe that was like the best match. And then, Rollins tried to leave, and then Cena FU'd him on the floor and then rolled him back in the ring. And then lo and behold, came Seth Rollins' next opponent / challenger, the man, the icon known as Sting. Wait, hold up. Okay. Yeah. So Sting came out, and at one point, I almost looked like, okay, this is gonna be like a quick match because Sting hit the Stinger splash, and I actually like that he was kind of going into his finishing sequence early because, yeah, he's already kind of beat up. Why toy with him? You just try to beat him, but no, Rollins kept escaping. It was funny when Rollins was trying to escape out of the Scorpion Deathlock. The only thing you just hear was Rollins just going. And it's like, yo, what the hell? You're just hearing all this murmuring. Oh shoot! First comment is from Danny. Hey, Nib Free. I thought the stream froze for a second. No, that's basically what happened to the last episode of the Stephen Malcolm show. So basically, it was mostly all Sting. And then there came a point in the match, basically Seth Rollins took control when Sting, after putting Rollins on the announcement table, once again, the poor Spanish announcement table. It's funny what somebody said. Since in America, mostly the Spanish announcement table gets broke, Does Mexico do the opposite? And they do the opposite, and almost like a take that, or it's almost like, okay, well, if in America the Spanish always get broke. Okay, how about in our own in Lucha Libre, we have an American, commentary desk, and that gets broken. I actually laughed at that. So yeah, the Pro Horseman on the announcement table gets broken again because Seth Rollins just pushes Sting, and Sting tumbles off and crashes through the Spanish announcement table. And then Seth looked like he was gonna walk out, take the count out. No, he's gonna walk out, but then he realized the position he had Sting in, and he took control. But then it looked like he was gonna try to win by count out, but Sting got back in. And then it was mostly just, I think, Rollins just stomping, just stomping on Sting, and I think he hit his sling blade on Sting. And I'm sorry for kind of trying to guess, and trying to really think about or guessing what happened or some things that happened. But because I try to take notes for this review, if I can be a little bit more specific, just try to get through the big things in the intersection. But I'm watching Monday Night Football, by the way. So throughout the whole show, throughout both his matches, Rollins never got the pedigree in. He never got a chance at the pedigree. Yeah, he made attempts, but he never got it. Then Sting, he did a crossbody onto Rollins outside the ring from the top rope. That was like probably the biggest spot, if not the table spot. Then Sting hit the Scorpion Death Drop, but Rollins got his hand on it, grabbed the rope. Then Sting got the Scorpion Death Drop. The Scorpion Death Lock. Rollins made the ropes. Then Rollins hit the turnbuckle powerbomb, and this is where the match, in a way, basically got scary. For Sting, because Rollins hit the turnbuckle powerbomb, or the buckle bomb as they call it, on Sting, and then Sting stumbled out of the corner, but you can tell something, it wasn't him selling, something was wrong, because you saw Rollins try to kick and it didn't even touch Sting, and Sting just dropped down. It's like, okay, something's wrong. Then Rollins, and once again, for some reason on the W Network, you can hear a lot of communication, and you can really hear in that match Rollins really communicating with Sting, especially during that period. And he whips Sting off the ropes, and then Sting goes to duck, and then Sting just basically collapses. And then the referee checks on Sting, and then one of the athletic commission doctors comes in the ring, and they check on Sting, and it's like this 3-minute delay, and that's where you can really talk. Okay, something is wrong. And at first I'm thinking, okay, are they playing up Sting being old? Now that they're gonna play it up in the story, Rollins is the future, or he's 29 years old, and Sting is the past, he's 56 years old, or the table spot really took its toll. But you can start to tell that, okay, no, something is wrong with Sting. And after a while, Sting gets in the corner, and he basically tells him, I'm okay. He puts his fist, gets in the fighting, shows that he's ready, gets in the fighting mode. The crowd starts cheering, and then Rollins tries to go for a kick. No, he goes for a kick, try to go for the pedigree. Sting double leg takedowns him. Scorpion Deathlock attempt. He rolls him through. He rolls him. He rolls. He rolls. He rolls him. He rolls him over. But then Rollins hooks. He hooks Sting's leg, so he's able to roll back on his back, and then he rolls up Sting, and then he gets to 1, 2, 3. So Rollins retains his belt. he beat Sting, and I did predict him to beat Sting. I predicted him to lose the Sting, but predict Sting. But I predicted him to beat Sting probably by some cheap way, but he actually won clean. So, so that was kind of pretty surprising. And I'm not even sure if that was supposed to be the finish or what happened to Sting led to that being the finish. I'm not so sure. And then, you know, because right almost like after it was over, Sting was still almost like Sting immediately was walked like to the back. You see it with referee and the trainer. So it was like really no segment like, oh, showing Sting, defeated or showing him, upset or anything. No, it was almost like Sting lost and Egg moved on. I guess because and I get in more rep with Sting. And then Sheamus comes out, as it kind of was implied. It was kind of pushed that possible cash in. And he comes there running and he ducks an attack from Rollins, hits the brogue kick, and it's like, oh shoot, it comes the cash in. And next thing you know, boom, the fire. And lo and behold, Kane returns as the Demon Kane. And Sheamus rolls out of the ring, but I'm thinking, Sheamus probably stay there because he's probably after Rollins, which he was, because then he chokeslammed Rollins. And then, Sheamus gets back in the ring. He gets back in the ring. And then, hold on, I'm looking at something on Facebook there, a comment. But then Sheamus is back in the ring, and I'm thinking, this dumb Sheamus, like this foolish Irishman. And then he's like, do it one more time. Do it one more time. You did that kick and whatever. And then Kane chokeslams him. And so there goes, Sheamus' possibility of cashing in. And then Kane tombstones Rollins. And then the flames go off. And that's how Night Champion ends, with the returning Kane on top. And as I said, I would go into further detail about Sting. Yeah, apparently, Sting. Yeah, that was not part of the match when he collapsed and everything. No, Sting suffered a legitimate injury, and the word is that it's a career-threatening injury. And I don't think Sting has ever had a career-threatening injury. So it's almost like, wow, he has a career-threatening injury at this point of his career at 56 years old. It's kind of crazy. It's kind of scary. And I believe it's towards his neck. And I believe it's from that turnbuckle powerbomb. That's what the speculation, that was from the turnbuckle powerbomb. From other people too, that's speculation. And one person said that Sting couldn't bend down without feeling like an immense pain. And like, man, it's like Sting's probably, I think Sting has gone probably his whole career without real threatening. I think he had one where his leg or so, but it wasn't that threatening. But I think they're saying this one is like career threatening. And it's like, what a worse time to get it at, age 56 years old and finally coming into the WWE. It's pretty messed up. But that basically covers, Night of Champions 2015. And as an overall event, I felt Night of Champions 2015 could have been a lot better, even with the lack of build it had. I wasn't too impressed by the pay-per-view. No, I wasn't too impressed by the pay-per-view. I kind of felt it was a little bit underwhelming. Some people were saying it was mediocre at best, and as a grade or so, in terms like a letter grade, I said it before. I mean, I said it to Chris when we was going out because Chris kind of came in late from work, but I told him that I give the pay-per-view C+ to a B-. And yeah, a B-, not a B or a B+. Like it barely reaches a B-. I think a C+, B- / B- is kind of fair. So that would kind of be maybe a 6 to 6.5. I think Night Champion 2015 could have been a whole lot better. I don't think it was all. I don't think it was all that good. I don't think it was bad, but I don't think it was necessarily good either. Um, not that much activity in the comment section. I'm not so sure that has to deal with because probably people expected to be on Chris's channel, and this being on my channel was kind of unexpected. But as long as the people watching the show, that's all good and dandy. And you done, Danny. You contributed in the comment section is all good. Um, but it's really good to be back. Even though it was, when was SummerSlam? SummerSlam was, um, let me check. SummerSlam was about, I think SummerSlam was August. When was it? August 23rd? Yeah, I think it was. Yeah, there was the 23rd. August 23rd. So the Wrestling Corner had been away. We had been away from, or this show has been away. Had been away from since the 24th of August when we did the review of SummerSlam. So that was about almost like 1, 2, 3, about 4 weeks. For 4 weeks we were away. So it was a pretty good 4-week break. 4-week break, pretty enjoyed it. And I always felt, for some reason, I always felt that. I guess because like in TV or so, and even in sports, September or the fall is almost like the beginning of a new season or so, or or just a start or something, a series premiere. So it feels very fitting that the new season of the Wrestling Corner, and I'm going to talk with Chris about the name, like, should it stay the Bennett Brothers Wrestling Corner, even though it probably for a long while might just be me, or should it stay the Bennett Brothers Wrestling Corner, or should or could it be changed to Hoka 93's Wrestling Corner? I will talk with Chris that when he comes back from work, because I put the Bennett Brothers Wrestling Corner because that's what it's always been known as, but it looks like at this point, yeah, it probably won't be that anymore. It'd probably just be me. And I think Chris will try to do his 2 cents thing, his Russell talk that he did one time before. So I think it probably will be the whole because it's like we both have our own wrestling segments now. But if there is a chance that Chris doesn't have to work on Monday, I won't be surprised. I would not be surprised. I can guarantee you that we would be together for this for the corner. But once again, it was good to be back. It's good to whoever was watching. Thank you for watching, and I hope you can tell how you felt about Night Champion. Do you feel that it was underwhelming? Do you feel that because I'm basing it on performance, because some people are just basing on who won and who lost. Sting didn't win. Some people. I saw a comment on Facebook in the group saying that Sting's 0-2, so it ruined his legacy. I'm thinking, okay, now you kind of over exaggerating. But I'm just basing it on performance, and performance wise, I give it a C+ and a B- or 6 to 6.5. But you can leave in the comment section or so what you guys thought of Night of Champions 2015. Did you think it was underwhelming? Did you think it was better or did you think that it wasn't underwhelming? It was actually a great pay-per-view, or you thought it was really or mediocre at best? However you feel, drop it in the comment section. Once again, it's good to be back for the Wrestling Corner. This is episode 1 of season 5. I'm Hoka 93, always in the place to be. And until next Monday, have yourself a good week and a good weekend, and stay easy. Peace.